Okay, let's get started with the installation of the Ubuntu operating system. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect the virtual media of my ILO with the Ubuntu 24.04 operating system ISO media. So go to the icon up here, select virtual media, and then connect that ISO file. And then the second thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna let the server boot, and then soon I will have the option to go to the boot menu by hitting F11. And that's what I'm gonna do now to be sure that I'm starting booting up my server from that installation media. So here I am selecting F11 to enter the boot menu. Let's wait for the devices to get started. This might take a little bit of time depending of your server configuration. In my environment, I'm using, by the way, an HP ProLiant micro server Gen 11, which I updated through COM, Compute Ops Management. I updated all the firmware before. And so now in the boot menu, I'm gonna select here that virtual CD-ROM, which is that ISO file from Ubuntu 24.04, which you downloaded earlier. And then we get started with the actual installation. Most of the time we will see that it's a next, finish, default answers that we're gonna select. There are two important screens that we will highlight in this video, which is about networking and storage. So let's get started with the actual installation. Okay, so we arrived at the first screen of my installation process, which is the desired language of your operating system. Then we hit next. And then you can select the and then you will get a screen for the keyboard layout, again depending of your desired location and language and keyboard layout that you're using. I will select here as well the default. And then we get the next option to install Ubuntu server or the minimized version. I'm gonna go for the defaults here as well. And then the first important screen that we get is the networking. Why is that important? Well, you can configure this later on as well, leave it as DHCP and configure it afterwards. However, what you can do here already will make your life easier definitely later. So what I'm gonna do is I have a micro server with 4 interfaces. From the documentation you will see that 6 interfaces is ideal because we have 3 networks. Well, in my micro server I only have 4 interfaces, and since this is a demo and testing environment, I'm not gonna create a bond. Here you see that there's a possibility to create a bond with or without LACP 802.3 AD. More information can be found in the documentation website. What I'm gonna do is my 4 interfaces, which are called ENO 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna select the first one, gonna set it to manual, and I'm gonna enter here. This will be my management network. The second interface will be the VM traffic network, and then the third and the fourth one will be my 2 iSCSI interfaces. So now I will enter all the information for my management network. first important thing in the subnet is that it's not 255.255.255.0 or 2540 in my case, but it is with the /23 format. Pay attention to that to avoid strange behaviors afterwards. Since this is my management interface, I'm gonna enter as well a default gateway to get access to the internet and a DNS server. And then finally I enter as well the DNS name and I hit save. So that is my management network, ENO2, my VM traffic interface. I'm gonna leave it like it is. That will be configured later on during the installation of the VM Essentials software. And then interface 3 and 4, I'm gonna configure it, but then with the IP addresses for my iSCSI network. For that you will see that I don't enter a default gateway and no name servers because that is not required on a storage iSCSI network. And I'm gonna do the same thing for my second iSCSI network. And then once that everything is set, verify everything, and then we hit done to go to the next page. I'm not using a proxy address in my network. And so now the installer will connect to the internet to check and download all the necessary files from a given mirror. Let's wait until that is finished. So the installer was able to fetch all the necessary files, so let's click done to proceed. Now the next screen that is important is the storage configuration. As you can see in my server, I have two drives. I have a 1 terabyte SATA drive and a 900 gig SSD drive. It's that SSD drive that I'm gonna select as the source, the target installation drive for my operating system. So let's select this one first. Depending of your configuration, you might have created a RAID 1 or a RAID 5 configuration in your server before the actual installation started, or you might have that NS204 boot device in your server. So I have selected here my SSD drive, I click done. And what you see now here is that by default the installer will create 100 gig volume on that 900 gig SSD. Well, what I will do is, to make my life a little bit easier, is instead of using that 100, I'm gonna expand it directly to the maximum capacity, so I don't have to grow it after some time myself. You can do that because it's using an LVM logical volume manager, but to make my life easy, I'm gonna give it directly the full capacity and I hit done. Are you sure? Yep, I'm sure. Let's continue. And then we arrive at the final page, some profile configuration. So I'm gonna enter all the information here, like my name, the name of the server, a username, and a password that needs to be created for my server. So I'm using my server will be called VME1, and as a username I want to highlight that root is not accepted because it's already in use by default when you install Ubuntu OS, and also, by the way, admin is also reserved, so you cannot use that one. So in my case I'm going to be using administrator and then the desired password. And then I hit done. I'm not gonna select to install Ubuntu Pro, so I click continue. However, I want to install OpenSSH server because then I can connect afterwards with PuTTY to my server for remote access. So I hit that checkbox and then I select OK, done. Final screen, additional services and features that you want to add. Well, at this moment I'm not gonna do that, so I hit done, and now starts the actual installation of the operating system. So here we're gonna wait until the complete installation is finished. How can you see that? Well, at the bottom you will see then an option reboot now. So let's wait for that reboot message to appear, and so finish the installation. So depending on the speed of your server and your internet connection, after a short time you will see that message reboot now, and that's what we're gonna do. You will get a message about unmounting the CD-ROM. Even if it says failed, don't worry too much, because you will see here media ejected successfully, and you will see indeed here that there is no ISO file connected anymore. So we hit one more time enter, and then you will see that the server will reboot into the Ubuntu 2404 operating system. Let's take a quick look to see and to validate that everything is okay. Okay, so we arrived at the login prompt of my server. So let's take a quick look and log in. Yep, that looks good. So that finishes the installation of my Ubuntu OS, and I can proceed with the next steps.